Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Monday, September the 1st. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to begin the new month negatively, with ASX futures down 0.3%, with the ASX 200 having gained more than 3% over the course of earnings season in August. Global stocks fell on Friday but rounded out a positive month. On Wall Street, all major indices finished in the red ahead of a long weekend. For the month, the S&P 500 rose almost 2%, the Dow was up 3.2% and the Nasdaq put on more than 1.5%, while the small-cap Russell 2000 rallied 7% in August. On Friday, tech stocks came under pressure, led by losses in Dell, which tumbled almost 9% after high manufacturing costs for AI-optimised servers and intensifying competition overshadowed the company's bullish demand forecast for AI infrastructure. Nvidia was down for a third straight day following its quarterly report midweek, which fell short of investors' high expectations, but confirmed that spending related to AI infrastructure remains strong. US shares of Alibaba soared 13% and were among the most traded after the Chinese company reported stronger than expected quarterly growth in its cloud computing business, driven by AI-related demand. Shares in chipmaker Marvell slumped after forecasting quarterly revenue below expectations. And global economy bellwether Caterpillar fell a day after the heavy equipment maker forecast higher tariff-related expenses for 2025. US consumer spending increased 0.5% in July, the most in 4 months, while personal income in July rose 0.4%. The core PCE deflator rose 2.9% year on year, as expected, while services inflation picked up. But economists did not believe strong domestic demand would prevent the Fed from cutting interest rates next month, against a backdrop of softening labour market conditions. And FOMC member Mary Daly has said interest rates should be lowered, saying it will be soon time to recalibrate policy to better match our economy, and that tariff-related price increases will be a one-off. It'll take time before we know that for certain, but we can't wait for perfect certainty without risking harm to the labour market. Well, the US tariff exemption for package imports, valued under $800, ended on Friday, raising costs for businesses and consumers. This as a US appeals court ruled that most of the Trump administration's tariffs are illegal. The court allowed the tariffs to remain in place through to October 14th to give the administration a chance to file an appeal with the US Supreme Court. Well, the US two-year Treasury fell to 3.61%, the 10-year rose to 4.23%, and the US dollar weakened against the euro and Swiss franc, on course for a 2% decline in August against a basket of currencies as traders prepared for a US interest rate cut next month. And Bitcoin has fallen back to trade around 109,000 US dollars. Oil prices fell on Friday as traders anticipated weaker demand in the US and a boost in supply from OPEC. Brent crude futures settling at $68 a barrel. Copper rose almost 2%, iron ore fell to $103 a tonne, and gold rose around 1% on Friday, rounding out its best monthly performance since April, as US inflation data reinforced expectations of a rate cut. Spot gold at $3,446 an ounce. Ahead locally this week, we get the home value index from Cotality today, along with monthly inflation gauge from the Melbourne Institute, ANZ job ads for August, company profits for the June quarter, and building approvals for July. Tuesday sees the balance of payments for the June quarter. Wednesday, RBA Governor Michelle Bullock speaks, and Thursday, the international trade balance for July is released. Overseas, US markets are closed on Monday. Tuesday, the US ISM Manufacturing Index for August is released, along with the construction spending for July. Wednesday sees US factory orders and job openings, as well as the Fed's Beige Book. Thursday sees the US ISM Services Index, the trade balance and ADP employment. And Friday, the US non-farm payrolls data for August. That's your week ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.